Hi there, Kirsty from Uplands here. And today I'm going to talk about something that I have answered, I think rather ineloquently on email a couple of times this week. So I'm going to try and do a video about it, which is what I like to do when I get asked the same question a bunch of times. So quite often people will come to us and ask us to work out their borrowing capacity. The person I'm recording this for is looking at borrowing capacity to purchase or construct their next property. And so what we've done is we've looked at the income that's going to be coming in from their salary, from projected rental, the outgoings that go out to do with existing debt, and also to do with living expenses just for that person and the size of their household. But quite often what people get a little bit confused about is they're like, okay, well, how does my savings factor into that? Or how does the equity I have in my property factor into my borrowing capacity? And it's a really good question because often when we're working out just borrowing capacity, we don't look at that side of it to begin with. Now, I know this person has both savings and equity, so I know they've kind of got that side of the coin. But unfortunately, you can have all the savings and all the equity in the world. A bank won't give you a loan unless you have the money in, money outside of things as well, which is why we look at that. So the two of them kind of exist in isolation to each other, but they come together to form the whole picture. So for example, let's say you had $1 million in savings, but didn't have enough income to show the bank you could afford a home loan. They're not going to give you a home loan. Your borrowing capacity is limited to how much savings you have because that's the cash that you've got. So often when you're wondering how savings impacts, it just impacts in that you can spend your savings. It doesn't necessarily give you extra borrowing capacity. And it's the same with equity. We need either savings or equity to be able to make a loan work. But those things don't then impact on the serviceability side of it. So the borrowing capacity, the money in, money out, that's really the other side of it. And that's what we're looking at when we're assessing your income, what is being deducted from there, whether it's HECS or other debts, all of those sorts of things, and how that all stacks up. So hopefully that's helpful. We can't have one without the other, but the two don't necessarily impact each other. As always, if you've got any questions or queries, please reach out. Borrowing capacity as interest rates are rising is getting tougher and tougher. So it's something that we're not only spending a lot of time working on, my amazing team of analysts are working on all the time, but also it changes month on month. Every time the RBA increases rates, and the banks are all predominantly passing them on in full, what's going to happen is your borrowing capacity is going to drop back in that month as well. So it's not a static thing at the moment. Reach out if you've got any questions. We're here to help.